Makes a late call at first base. That, of course, brings Pete Rose out of the dugout, and the argument got physical. Rose was tossed, and the fans started tossing. They delayed the game for 14 minutes, and they chased the umpires from the field. Dave Filone didn't come back that night. And now it's Pete Rose that's gone for a while. Hello, everyone. I'm Jim Houston with Ken Singleton at Riverfront Stadium. You may have heard that Pete Rose has been suspended for 30 days because of that incident, subject to appeal. I think one of the big questions here is, with a young ball team, how's it going to affect the Reds?
Well, I've been in a situation like that, Jim. Our manager, Earl Weaver, was suspended for 3 days in Baltimore, but it was more looked upon by the players as a 3-day vacation for the team. I think here in Cincinnati, situation is different. If Pete is going to be gone for 30 days with a young ball club, it might affect their chances to win the division.
Tommy Helms will be the interim manager, but says he'll get an awful lot of help. We'll hear from him throughout the evening, but the message is loud and clear that you don't push umpires in the National League of Baseball. Pete Rose is gone for 30 days, but we're back in just a couple of minutes. This is Labatt Expos Baseball on TSN. May '87 came just in time for the Montreal Expos. They were 4 under 500 without their superstar, but went 10-5 on the road in May and started to get it together. May 1st was also the day Pascual Perez reported to AAA Indianapolis. He later moved up and went 7-0 with Montreal in September. May 2nd, Tim Raines returned after no spring training in New York, and all he did was go 4 for 5 with a grand slam home run in extra innings to beat the Mets 11-6. And the Expos were on their way to an unexpected summer of pennant race baseball. May of 1988 arrived yesterday with the Expos 10-12, and again Montreal was in extra innings, this time under the Astrodome in Houston. In the 14th inning, after Tom Foley drove in a go-ahead run, rookie Johnny Paredes hit his first Major League home run. The Expos went on to win 7-3. Now, hoping another monumental May is coming their way, Montreal moves on to Cincinnati. And tonight, live on TSN, it's the Expos against the Reds, with the first pitch coming up. I'm sure the umpires have had a lot to discuss today. There's certainly been a lot discussed about umpires. The crew that was here for the controversial weekend has moved on. And the crew here tonight features Paul Runge behind home plate, Joe West at first, Charlie Williams at second, and Bob Engel at third. An absolutely gorgeous day. Thanks to May, baseball weather is finally here. 19 degrees Celsius at game time. The winds won't be a factor if they continue to be of the low velocity they're at now. On the mound tonight, Ron Robinson. For the Cincinnati Reds, he beat the Montreal Expos in Montreal last Tuesday. And the lineup that he will face is a little different. If you're an Expo fan, you probably haven't seen this one. The Expos lineup was juggled by Buck Rogers yesterday, and it's somewhat the same today. Rookie Johnny Paredes went 5 for 11 on the weekend. He's in the number 2 spot. Wallach Galarraga are back in today after sitting out yesterday. Fitzgerald's down to the number 7 spot with Foley at 8, hoping to put some punch into the bottom of the order. As a team, the Expos are hitting .247, tied for 4th in the league.
26-year-old Ron Robinson on the mound, former number 1 draft choice of the Cincinnati Reds back in June of 1980. Features all of the pitches: fastball, curve, slider, and a change. 6'4", 230-pounder. He's a big one, and he throws fairly hard.
4-1 lifetime against the Montreal Expos, and 1-0 this year. As I mentioned, he beat them 5-2 last Tuesday. Pitched 5 1/3 innings of 3-hit ball. The Cincinnati Reds trying to snap a 4-game losing skid. And I kind of get the feeling, Ken, that after the Mets leave town in several different cities, there'll be teams trying to snap a skid.
Mets are really hitting the ball. Pounded 4 home runs in yesterday's ball game against the Reds, and 11-0 shutout. Dwight Gooden picks up his 6th win of the season, his 4th straight complete game. As we take a look at the defense tonight for Cincinnati, Nick Osaski over at first base, Jeff Treadway at second, Barry Larkin will be at short, Chris Sabo at third, Cal Daniels in left, Eric Davis in center, Paul O'Neill in right field, Bo Diaz behind the plate, and it's Ron Robinson on the mound.
What a great lot of young talent to watch tonight from the Cincinnati Reds. Team that's, as we mentioned, lost 4 in a row, but now 11-12, 1 under 500, 3.5 games back of Houston in the National League West. The Expos at 10-11, trying to get back to 500, send Tim Raines to the plate. Tim batting at .258. His on-base percentage, an important statistic for a leadoff man, is at .350. He'd like it to be up around .400. And he's got to do a little trench work down there. Get rid of the lines and get at it. Raines went 3 for 14 in Houston. Scored 1 run.
I think that victory yesterday for the Expos in Houston, in particular, playing 14 innings. If you're going to be out there that long, you might as well win the ball game. They averted a sweep by the Astros and gave them a little bit of a boost coming here to Cincinnati. And this ball is given a boost, but it's going to go right to Paul O'Neill in right field. He one-hands it. And there's one down. Ball stroked very well by Tim Raines. The Rock is around that 260 mark. Hopefully, a good hot streak will get him around that 300 mark where he belongs.
Here's the rookie who had such a great start on the weekend, Johnny Paredes, up from Indianapolis at AAA. Came up on Friday night and got his first hit in RBI, but batted at the bottom of the order. Now he's back to a position he's accustomed to. All through his minor league career, he's either batted leadoff or hit in the second spot where he is here.
But Buck Rogers is moving Paredes up to the second spot in the order. He moves him in front of Hubie Brooks and Tim Wallach, and he's more apt to get more fastballs. When you bat down in that A spot, you get a lot of junk. Curveballs, balls in the dirt, with the pitcher coming up next. Ground ball towards the middle. Slick fielding Barry Larkin with a throw to Asaski, and there's 2 down.
That'll bring Hubie Brooks to the plate. The RBI leader on the Expos with 15. You know what was even more impressive about the Expos breaking the jinx of Houston, if you will, yesterday and snapping out of a 2-game losing streak was that they beat Mike Scott, who's been almost unbeatable for this team. They didn't get a decision yesterday, but they won a game in which he pitched and pitched well.
Scott picking up 9 strikeouts and 9 innings of work. Also yesterday, Buck was able to give a semi-rest to Andres Galarraga and Tim Wallach.
Except they decided to play 2 games. Stretched it out to 14. 1-1 pitch to Brooks. He swung at that and missed a ball, and 2 strikes to Hubie Brooks from Ron Robinson.
Robinson, another California product out of Woodlake, California. The sharp breaking ball that had Hubie Brooks well out in front. Fastball, a teaser, and the count runs to 2-2.
Here's the 2-2 pitch to Hubie Brooks. Oh, and away, ball 3. The count is full. Ron Robinson, 6'4", 230 pounds. They couldn't seem to decide for the longest time whether they wanted him to start or work out of the bullpen. Spent a year in the pen here in Cincinnati. Last year started the season in the pen. Came to the starting rotation and looked good then, as he's looked good here. He strikes out Hubie Brooks, his first strikeout of the night, and Robinson gets the Expos 1-2-3 in order in the top of the first. And the Cincinnati Reds with a
situation. They don't have Pete Rose to lead the ball club, and I think that in a situation such as this, the Reds have a young ball club. And you have a manager, Pete Rose, well respected by players who have seen him do some marvelous things on the field. And it might hurt this ball club and their chances of winning the division if he indeed is out for a 30-day period, as he has been suspended by National League President Bartlett Giamatti.
Pascual Perez, a 30-year-old Dominican, is the starter tonight for the Montreal Expos. He's been great in his 5 previous starts, and there's the lineup that he'll face. The Reds lineup has some great speed, but very little punch lately. They lead the league with 46 stolen bases, but the average is down to 241 as a team because Cal Daniels and Eric Davis are both in terrible slumps. Lots of great young talent in this lineup, but most of it right-handed. Only Daniels, O'Neill, and Treadway bat left, which may favor this man, Pascual Perez.
Well, Pascual Perez pitched brilliantly against the Reds up in Montreal, winning a 1-0 decision against Mario Soto, who pitched very well himself. Perez went to the slider, and that seems to be his best pitch early in the season, so you might look for that slider pitch tonight. Down and away, maybe even out of the strike zone to pick up a few strikeouts.
First man he'll face is Barry Larkin. whose 15 runs scored leads the team. That's where you want the leadoff man to be, although his on-base percentage isn't sensational at .339. He gets on 33% of the time.
As you can see with a .307 batting average, his on-base percentage is almost comprised solely of his batting average. He has to get a few more base on balls.
Only 4 this season. This should be out of play, and is. 3 Expos come over to have a look at it. 24-year-old Larkin is a Cincinnati born and raised product, although he did leave for a while to go to the University of Michigan.
Became an Olympian, played on the United States Olympic team back in 1984 that's produced so many ball players that are now in the major leagues. In particular, I'm thinking of Greg Swindell, the young pitcher for the Cleveland Indians, who is now 5-0 out of the University of Texas.
Mark McGuire.
There's a few of them.
0-2 count to Larkin. Ground ball for Foley, the shortstop, not in time. A base hit for Barry Larkin.
It's a tough play for Tom Foley. Ball back through the middle. And watch him range far to his left. And now he has to throw on the run. And here's where Larkin's speed beats out an infield base hit.
Larkin seemed to reach way out to get that as well. He's on base, and when the Reds are on base this year, they're dynamite. They've stolen 46 to lead the league. As third baseman Chris Sabo comes to the plate. Pleasant surprise for the Reds. Pascual Perez throws the first pitch. It's 1-0, a ball. With Buddy Bell injured on the disabled list, re-injuring a knee, Chris Sabo has come out of the Reds system and performed very well.
He's played an excellent third base and has great speed on the bases. There's I don't know if that was a pitch out or not, but it looked like one. The count goes to 2-0. As you said, Larkin has stolen 10 out of 11 this year. And I think it's important for Mike Fitzgerald or Jeff Reed, who's ever in the ball game with a club like the Reds, a lot of speed. If they can throw somebody out early in the game, it will send a message to the Reds. Take your time. Just don't throw up the green flag and start running.
Pascual has not been particularly adept at holding runners on either, so he'll have to get some help.
That's coaching at third. That's Bruce Kim. Featuring the signs that maybe he gave the go sign. Barry Larkin. Here's a throw to first base. Larkin back easily. That's Joe West, the umpire at first.
2 balls and a strike. The count on Sabo as Larkin scampers back to first. Larkin's on his way. The ball's hit sharply to Wallach at third. He's got the force.
We're going to see if we get a double play here. They're going to check to see if Wallach caught this ball on the fly. Third base umpire Bob Engel seemed to throw the arm up that he had caught the ball on the fly. And let's see if this is a double play. Well, right now they're sending Larkin back to first base. I don't understand this at all. Actually, they're sending him to the dugout. Wallach does catch it on the fly. He got the leather just underneath the ball, throws across the diamond. Not so much to get Sabo out at first base, but to double Larkin off the bag. He was running on the play. So the Expos pick up a double play on the line drive to Tim Wallach.
A 5-3 double play that the replay clearly shows was into the glove of Tim Wallach. So there's no base runners. They're erased. Nobody aboard, and 2 out for Pascual Perez as he faces the left-handed hitting Cal Daniels.
There was no confusion as far as third base umpire Bob Engel was concerned. No confusion here either. This ball is well hit to right field. It's gone. A home run for Cal Daniels.
So much for the slump. Daniels had gone 0 for his last 8, hadn't had a hit since he played the Expos last Tuesday, and he hits a rocket out of Riverfront. 1-0 Reds.
Forget about the play at third. Here's a home run for you.
Yeah.
Before the game, hitting coach Tony Perez was out here with Cal Daniels, and the hitter up now, that's Eric Davis. It seems to have paid off as far as Daniels was concerned. Stroked that ball nicely into the green seats in right field, and it's 1-0 Cincinnati.
The third home run surrendered this season by Pascual Perez, and here comes Eric Davis. Like Daniels, mired in a slump. Daniels was 2 for his last 34. Davis 5 for his last 46, and look at that average. 170 from the man who was the player of the month in April and in May last season.
May was his month. He hit 12 home runs in the month of May last season, more than any other month. Perez.
I don't know what he was looking for other than to make sure that everyone saw he caught that. But he got Eric Davis. Back to the mound. Yeah, got all of them. A home run by Cal Daniels has the Cincinnati Reds out in front of Pascual Perez and the Expos 1-0 after 1. This is Labatt Expos Baseball on TSN. Tim Wallach, Andres Galarraga, and Mitch Webster up for Buck Rogers and the Expos. The bad news for the Expos is that this season they haven't won a game in which the opposition has scored in the first inning. That's happened 5 times, but those streaks can be broken. Two hits and the big one from Cal Daniels. Actually, that double play ball by Wallach really comes into play in that first inning. He erases the base runners for Pascual Perez, and the home run's only a solo shot. After the single by Larkin, it could easily have been 2.
Perez mulling over that pitch he threw to Cal Daniels, laid it right in there. He jumped on the first pitch. Poor location on a fastball, and Daniels just smoked it.
Tim Wallach went 1 for 9 in Houston. Didn't start yesterday. Got one at bat late in the game in the extra innings. But he hit .388 against the Reds last season, so maybe a visit to Riverfront is the tonic to end the slump.
Not only .388, he had 9 extra base hits, 3 home runs, and 15 RBIs. So he was at his best against Cincinnati. There's a strike over the outside corner. And it's 0-2.
In Cincinnati, he jacked the numbers up even a little higher. In Riverfront, .458 with 7 RBIs.
And believe me, when a player who hasn't been hitting the way he feels he should, he looks to come to places that are very familiar, and he's done well in the past, and he feels he can shake a slump. So maybe just the sight of Riverfront Stadium on the way back, on the way from the airport, was tonic enough for Tim Wallach, but not right here on the short pop-up down the right field line. It goes foul.
Looked like there'd be a play because that was so high in the air, but O'Neill seemed to slow down for the mound. Maybe the wind moved it a bit. Maybe they were playing him over to left field.
A trio of Asaski, Treadway, and O'Neill. A little bit out of their range. And Wallach is still alive with the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
So when you were in a slump, did you start humming Seattle?
That was I wanted to get to the West Coast.
The bluest skies I've ever seen.
The great Northwest. There's a funny thing about that place. When I was hitting well, I got there, I hit better. And when I wasn't hitting, when I got there, I started to hit.
Another foul ball. This one will be into the seats.
Ron Robinson on the mound. Last year, every time he made a start, the Cincinnati Reds averaged 6 runs per start. That was the most run support in the National League. So they seem to score runs when he's pitching. Nice play by Treadway.
Beauty.
Good look at the youngster, Jeff Treadway, who earned his spot on this ball club going back to last September when he was called up. Did a fine job. The Reds decided they would be able to trade Kurt Stillwell. That ended a logjam around shortstop and second base. Treadway has taken over, and he's done a fine job.
Part of an all-homegrown 9 that the Reds can put out there. They've decided to catch Bo Diaz tonight with Andres Galarraga coming up and 1 out. With Robinson on the mound, 8 of the 9 players on the field are Cincinnati drafts, or in Treadway's case, signed as a free agent, but he was an amateur free agent, so he still qualifies as coming up through their system. Larkin throws out Galarraga, 2 away.
I think that we've talked about in the past that should be the way that any ball club would want to go in forming their team. Great for them if they're if they have any stardom under their belt. They are making some pretty good money when you get them. Robinson drops in a curveball for strike 1.
Ball 1, low and into Mitch Webster, 1-1, 2 away, top of the 2nd inning, and a 1-0 lead for the Cincinnati Reds on the home run by Cal Daniels, fouled off by Webster. So the Reds could catch Terry McGriff, and they have caught several times this season in giving Bo Diaz a rest, and that would be their 9th homegrown player. They haven't done as well, though, in scouting pitching. It's odd that Jeff Robinson, who's on the mound tonight, Rob Murphy works out of the bullpen, are really their only claims to fame in the pitching staff from their own drafts. Inside, ball 2-2 to Mitch Webster.
It's funny how some organizations can go out and draft pitchers time after time, and others come up with the hitters, come up with the big bats.
Webster waits for that breaking ball. Treadway again makes that play a little easier than the one he made on Wallach, but gets the job done nonetheless. And Robinson has retired the first 6 that he's faced in this game. It's 1-0 for the Cincinnati Reds as they come back to the plate in the bottom of the 2nd. This is Labatt Expos Baseball on TSN.
Well, no, he left last night, gave me the lineup for the day, and then he had surgery today, so I imagine he's still groggy and everything. But like he said, this is going to be a total effort from the coaching staff right now. We'll just do the best we can, and it's a tough time because we're in a 4-game losing streak. We hope we can get our offense going again and get Cal Daniels and Eric Davis going again and win a ball game. That's what we got to think about tonight, and forget about this other stuff.
Hard to forget, though, about losing the manager of a team for 30 days as Pete Rose has lost to the Reds. But Tommy Helms, who's been around Pete for a long time, is at the helm of the Reds tonight.
Well, they go way back to 1962 when they both played together in Macon on the same ball club. Tommy Helms was second baseman, or Pete Rose was the second baseman. Tommy Helms was a shortstop in those days. Helms hit .340, Rose hit .330, so they had a pretty good combination. As far as hitting was concerned, both of them played in the major leagues a long, long time.
Bottom of the 2nd, Asaski, O'Neill, and Diaz, the catcher, due up against Pascual Perez. Asaski was way out in front of that. Fouls it off. Reds have been waiting for a long time for Nick Asaski to explode. He can hit the ball a mile. And he's hit 4 home runs this season. Finally came into his own last year as a first baseman. Hits this one on the ground for the rookie Paredes. And he throws out Asaski, 1 away.
Paredes looking sharp on that play. I think I've mentioned this before. It kind of reminds me of Manny Trio, especially in his style. He has a very strong underhand type flip. And even his batting style is very similar to Manny Trio, who played many years for the Phillies and also spent some time in an Expo uniform.
The right fielder Paul O'Neill is up and behind 0-1 with 1 away to Pascual Perez, who throws a breaking ball for a ball, 1-1.
Speaking about Reds draft, he was a number 4 draft back in 1981. So a lot of players that the Reds had drafted in the early 80s are now bearing fruit in the major leagues.
You talked about it being the cheapest way. The most inexpensive, I should say. It's certainly not cheap to run your franchise. Well, right now, the Reds' payroll is the 2nd lowest in the National League. The Pirates have the lowest. But that'll change because so many of these young players are just coming into their own. As O'Neill fouls another one off, 2-2, that in a few years they'll have to start paying them a little more. You've got to figure stars like Cal Daniels, who's making $185,000, Rob Murphy at $175,000, Larkin at $127,000, Treadway at $67,000. We'll get a lot more than that in the years to come as Perez gets strikeout number 1, fooled O'Neill, and there's 2 away.
Pascual Perez picking up his first strikeout of the night, and he's been striking him out at an alarming rate this year. Up there in the league leaders. A change up, down and away out of the strike zone. O'Neill way out in front. Bo Diaz takes strike one.
37 strikeouts moves Perez ahead of Kevin Gross, behind Scott and Ryan in third spot. Broken bat, single over the head of the shortstop Tom Foley, and Diaz is aboard with 2 away.
Bo Diaz last year had one of his best seasons. He's had knee problems over the years, but last year came up healthy. Put it together behind the plate and with the bat. We said Bo's the only foreign player on the team, the only one who hasn't come up through the system as far as the players on the field tonight.
Perez to Jeff Treadway, who fouls one away. 25-year-old Treadway, another product of the Cincinnati system. And Diaz is being awarded second base. A balk called on Perez.
Pascual didn't stop or pause long enough for the umpiring crew here tonight. Let's see. Ooh, that's kind of a tough one to call right there. Not long enough. Well, the Reds have a runner in scoring position. This changes the situation drastically. Treadway's up there with a runner in scoring position. The pitcher up next.
And one of their few left-handed bats against the right-handed pitcher. That's the 4th balk called on Perez this season. That leads the Expos staff.
Well, right now, does he pitch around Treadway and get to the pitcher with 2 outs? Or does he go right at him? The balk board.
You see the numbers
dwindling,
coming down. Now, I wonder if that's because the pitchers are catching on or the umpires are not calling it anymore. It might depend on who you ask the question of. Diaz on second, the 1-0 pitch inside, squirts away from Fitzgerald. And Diaz is up to third with 2 away. A wild pitch charged to Pascual Perez. And Buck Rogers is coming on to have a talk with his pitcher.
Trying to settle him down. Maybe the balk call got Perez out of kilter. Here's the wild pitch. No chance for Mike Fitzgerald on that one. But watch the ball bounce off of the backstop and come out quickly. Something you might watch for later in the game under similar situations. A catcher might have a play at the plate or another base. Now Buck's trying to settle him down. Get this last hitter out and go back in the dugout and sit down.
Rogers goes, Fitzgerald stays. And now he breaks, and Pascual will work to Treadway with the count 2-0 and 2 away. Bottom of the second inning and a runner on third. 1-0 lead for the Reds on a first inning home run by Cal Daniels. Treadway hits this. Wallach makes the catch, throws over to Galarraga at first. And Pascual Perez, thanks to some sterling defense by his third baseman, is out of this inning unscathed. A single and a man left aboard, and Pascual and the Expos continue to trail 1-0. Here's the play.
Wallach one step and a dive, up with it. Now a strong throw across the diamond, and the Reds are retired.
His bat's been cool, but his glove has been hot all season. Expos trail the Reds 1-0, end of 2. This is Labatt, Expos baseball on TSN. The Expos trailing 1-0, haven't had a hit. Yesterday in Houston, Buck Rogers juggled his lineup considerably against the Astros to try and get his team going in Houston.
Well, actually, we had more than one motive. Number one, Mike Scott has been real tough on us, as you know, and Wallach and Galarraga, neither one hit him very well. And the other thing is that Wally Johnson and Greg Nettles, neither one have had the at-bats that I'd like to give him. So I tried to solve all three problems in one game, and fortunately, we won the ball game. It took us 14 innings, and it wasn't Mike Scott we beat, but we won the ball game.
As it turned out, Wallach and Galarraga had to come into that game, although they didn't start it. But they came in and pinch hit and stayed in later in the game. Mike Fitzgerald was a pinch hitter yesterday in Houston. Got one at bat, and he's been working with Jeff Reed behind the plate and is the starter tonight. Back in the number 7 spot in the order. Last season, the Expos had Vance Law, you'll remember. So he would bat 6th. The catchers would bat 7th. Fitzgerald puts one on the ground for the third baseman, Sabo. Chris throws out Fitzgerald, one away.
Sabo making the save to his left, throwing across the diamond for the out. Interesting story about Sabo you were telling me before the game.
He's from the Detroit area and actually was a hockey goaltender, and not just your average Sunday at the rink hockey goalie either. Played in the Little Caesars organization, which is one of the fine youth hockey organizations run by Mike Ilitch, the owner of the Red Wings. And then he went on and actually played junior hockey with the Niagara Falls Flyers in the Ontario Hockey League for a while with the likes of Steve Ludzik and Steve Larmer, who play in Chicago. So he knows a little bit about hockey, and he's cheering for the Red Wings, who start up against the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow night. Batter here is Tom Foley. Long fly ball against the team that he started his career with, and that's all it is. Daniels in left makes the catch.
Daniels ran into the wall yesterday in the game against the Mets, chasing a home run by Howard Johnson, the 4th home run by the Mets in the ball game. It's kind of touch and go whether Daniels would be in the game tonight. Kind of bruised his shoulder, stretched his neck, but the manager Pete Rose out of there, I guess, have to go with the full complement of troops tonight, so Daniels is in the lineup.
Didn't look very sore when he hit that ball out of the park. Pascual Perez, the pitcher, is the batter against the pitcher, Ron Robinson. 2 away as Robinson has just sailed through this order. Pascual tried to pull it back.
And actually he did. The count is 1-1. Interesting stat on Robinson. For his career, he is 17-6 before the All-Star break, but after that he kind of comes apart. Now he's had elbow problems in the past, and maybe as the season goes on his elbow starts to act up.
In fact, he had arthroscopic surgery last October. Maybe his arm will be fresh this season. The bunt picked up by Robinson. Good try by Pascual Perez, but Robinson threw him out and now has retired the first 9 batters he's faced through 3 innings. He and the Cincinnati Reds lead the Montreal Expos 1-0 after 2.5. This is Labatt Expos baseball on TSN. Welcome back to Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Expo fans in the Montreal area, when you're thinking about going to the Expo games, here's a novel idea and a chance for you to see the games you want if you can't see them all. Put together your own mini season ticket package. Pick your 10, 20, or 40 favorite games, call the number on your screen, and get an Expo mini season ticket package. One nothing Reds as Cincinnati comes to the plate. Bottom half of the third, they've had 3 hits and scored a run off Pascual Perez. The run came on the home run by Cal Daniels in the first.
Pretty good crowd here tonight in Cincinnati with the ball game on television locally. And we'll take a look at the coaches. My old teammate Lee May at first base, and that's Bruce Kim over at third. Now Lee is normally in the dugout along with manager Pete Rose, while Tommy Helms manages the first base sack. But tonight Helms is running the ball club and Lee May is forced out of the dugout to coach at first base. Lee May, if I was going to have a team, I'd like to have him on it. Great attitude.
Perez pitching to his opposite number, Ron Robinson. 0-1. Hit on the ground for Foley, the shortstop. And he throws out Robinson easily. One away.
Lee May, who once said, if I don't strike out 100 times a year, I'm not trying.
Back to the top of the order then, and Barry Larkin for the Cincinnati Reds.
Larkin, who comes from an athletic family. One of his brothers went to the University of Notre Dame and played football, and his brother Byron played basketball, was an all-star for Xavier University, and 3-time MVP of the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. Look at this changeup. The count evens up at 1-1. Perez, he's a show in himself, folks. Worth the price of admission.
Ripped down the line, but Wallach is there in good position, and the ball got to him quickly, and he quickly threw out Barry Larkin. 2 away for Pascual Perez.
Wallach playing very close, respecting the speed of Larkin and his ability to bunt.
The Labatt player of the game for the Expos could be Tim Wallach or Pascual Perez will receive this hand-carved Inuit sculpture presented by H.H. Brown, makers of Walkabouts, Canada's new lightweight walking shoes for men. With padded comfort and unique airflow sole, walk a more comfortable mile in Walkabouts by H.H. Brown. Two away for the goalie. Chris Sabo hits a rocket way up in the air and back. Sabo's a big Red Wing fan. Of course, being from the Detroit area, he says that if Steve Yzerman was in the lineup, they might win 2 against the Oilers, but he thinks they might only win 1 without Stevie Y.
I thought I saw in the paper today that he might be able to play. They're thinking about him coming back from that knee surgery. Just maybe.
Might be wishful thinking, but they're hoping. Maybe it's some incentive for the players, makes them feel better to think their captain could be back soon. 0-2 count. Thrown in hard by Pascual Perez, and he misses 1 and 2. Even in his 2 losses, Perez has pitched well. His 5 starts have all been decisions. He's 3 and 2, and he's been solid in every performance. 1-2 pitch. Sabo had a mind. Didn't go 2 and 2.
Sabo himself had undergone arthroscopic knee surgery last year. Had a number of injuries during his minor league campaign at Nashville. Look out.
Three balls, 2 strikes on Chris Sabo.
Has the ability to get on base. That's why manager Rose or manager Helms has him up at the top of the lineup. He thought he was getting on base there, but hey, I got a surprise for you, Chris.
He went around. He's out. Strikeout number 2 for Pascual Perez, and his first 1-2-3 inning here in the 3rd as Sabo goes down.
I believe he went too far, but believe me, no rookies are going to get that call in the National League or in the American League.
Can't believe that here in Cincinnati they'd be booing an umpire. 1-0 Reds after 3. This is Labatt Expos Baseball on TSN. Now to TSN Control for a sports update.
This update is brought to you by Diet Coke, just for the taste of it.
Hi there, and welcome back to our TSN Control Center in Toronto. Hope you're enjoying the baseball game. I'm Paul Romanek. Elsewhere in and around the major leagues, in the American League, the 1-23 Baltimore Orioles welcome back home by their fans against the Texas Rangers. Bob Rivers, that's the DJ who was on the air until the Orioles won a game. Looks like he hasn't changed yet. He threw out the first pitch. The fans, all kinds of them, expecting about 45,000 at the game to welcome them back. And the Orioles looking good in the early going. Jay Tibbs in the mound for the Orioles, and he strikes out his man to end that first inning. Morgana, the kissing bandit, also making an appearance at that ball game. More on that a little bit later on. Now, as far as hockey is concerned, the Wales Conference Final, game number 1 between the New Jersey Devils and the Boston Bruins. Boston leading by a score of 1-0. Glenn Wesley with the goal for the Boston Bruins. We'll have all the details on Sports Desk right now. We'll take this break, then back to the ball game.
They're ahead 1-0 and have 3 hits off Pascual Perez. The Expos have zeros across the board and send the top of the order out for the second time to face Ron Robinson.
Tim Raines stroked the ball well in his first at-bat, but lined out to Paul O'Neill in right field. It's a fastball in the inside corner for strike 1. Robinson looks sharp. His breaking ball has been dropping into the strike zone with a regularity, and his fastball has been right on the corners. Hasn't been catching too much of the middle of the plate. There's a changeup in for strike 2.
Ron Robinson has been a better traveling man, actually, than a home team player lately. Last year, batters hit .285 against him here, .227 on the road. He was 10-12 for his career. He is 10-12 at Riverfront, 15-5 on the road, and his earned run average is a couple of runs better when he travels.
Maybe he looks better in gray, or feels better in gray.
0-2 pitch to Raines. He waits on a breaking ball, hits it right to Larkin, who guns him out. Good play by Asaski to make sure he got that out of the dirt. 1 away. 10 straight for Robinson.
Barry Larkin has taken over the shortstop job with the trade of Kurt Stillwell to the Kansas City Royals. Royals sending left-hander Janny Jackson over here to Cincinnati, and he's done a fine job. One of those trades where an American League left-hander comes over to the National League is almost immediately successful.
Ball 1 to Johnny Paredes. He grounded out to the shortstop Larkin for the second out of the first inning. Paredes was originally signed by the Philadelphia Phillies in 1982, released a couple of years later. Strike called, 1-1. And then scouted during winter ball by Jim Fanning of the Expos, who signed him during the game he was playing in. He was pulled from the game in the middle innings. And to make sure he got him and nobody else did, Fanning signed him right there. Paredes is gone as the pop-up is to Asaski. The Labatt player of the game for the Expos tonight receives this hand-carved Inuit sculpture presented by H.H. Brown, makers of Walkabouts, Canada's new lightweight walking shoes for men with padded comfort and unique airflow sole. Walk a more comfortable mile in Walkabouts by H.H. Brown. Hubie Brooks hits this one into left field. It's in fair territory. It's also in the glove of Cal Daniels. So through 4 innings, Ron Robinson has faced the minimum. Retired 12 straight Montreal Expos. Daniels makes the catch for the out, and his home run has the Cincinnati Reds up 1-0 in the middle of the 4th. This is Labatt Expos baseball on TSN. Pascual Perez is the pitcher for the Montreal Expos. Tony Perez is the hitting coach for the Cincinnati Reds, and we discussed the latest problems for Daniels, Davis, and others in the Red Bats this season.
Well, right now, Eric Davis is having his problem, and he's not staying back on the ball, and I'm just trying to make a statement in the back foot, and I'm trying to, to use his hands. He's not using his hand. He's using his front leg. His body's going, and everything is not compact. I mean, he's not swinging the bat well right now. But I try, what I said before, make it time to stay back and use their hand. Carl Daniel the same way. They've been rushing out there. They don't. they've been waiting to see the ball or anything. They just go out there and hit, and you cannot do that. You know, you have to use your hands and concentrate on the pitch.
He's a pretty good teacher, isn't he?
Tony Perez, I'll tell you what, he's going to get some Hall of Fame consideration when his time goes by, the 5-year waiting period. Here's Cal Daniels, the man he was working with before the game. The first swing that he took during the ball game, a home run. Has to make a hitting coach smile. And of course, when he got back to the bench, he says, that's what I've been talking about all along.
See, it works. Fouls this one off, 1-1. Pascual Perez got through the Reds in order in the third, gave up a hit in the second and 2 in the first, including the home run. Up and away, 2-1. This is a short 2-game series. Floyd Yeomans and Mario Soto tomorrow night, and we'll bring you that game live on TSN at 7:30 Eastern as well.
Now, interesting note on Cal Daniels. He has been the leadoff hitter in the past for the Reds, and he's leading off here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Now, for his career, when he leads off an inning, he has an on-base percentage of almost 45%. And there he goes again.
First walk surrendered by Pascual Perez, and the leadoff man is aboard for the cleanup man, Eric Davis. Daniels and Davis have been taking their share of base on balls. Fortunately for Davis, he's been striking out an awful lot too, 29.
16 times in his last 12 games he has gone down on strikes.
Runner's on his way. The throw, not in time. Stolen base number 6 for Cal Daniels.
As I said before, important for Mike Fitzgerald to try and throw out these Cincinnati speedsters early in the game. But Daniels gets an awfully good jump, and he has some tremendous speed. He takes a glance to see where the pitch is. Knows he has to turn it on, the head first slide. Watch Paredes' leg trying to block the bag, but he gets his left hand in there, and he's called safe by second base umpire Charlie Williams.
Close play, but the runner's safe and in scoring position on second base for Eric Davis. We've talked before about how the Expos' percentage of throwing out runners last season was only 18%. At this point in the early season, it's 23%. This year they've thrown out 6 and been stolen on now 27 times. Davis on the ground, finds a hole into center field. Daniels rounds third and will score on an RBI single from Eric the Red.
So the batting practice pays off. Eric Davis with a bouncing ball through the middle. Of course, Daniels with excellent speed is going to score easily. Mitch Webster, all he can do is flip it back into second base. Remember, Eric Davis has some speed too, so you might try and see an instant replay here of Davis trying to do the same thing as Daniels did and steal second early in the count. Pitch out doesn't work. He wasn't going. So Saski now is ahead on the count, 1 ball and no strikes.
Davis has stolen 9, has been caught once. Stole 50 last season. Outside to Saski, 2-0, and a throw to first, and Davis is back. Two 2-0 the Cincinnati Reds lead. The stolen base pays off in the 4th.
Pascual Perez with a novel pickoff after the throw from the catcher. He threw it right to first base. Davis with the good lead, and there he goes.
Fitzgerald's throw is high, not in time. 10th stolen base for Eric Davis. The track meet's on in Cincinnati, and there's another runner in scoring position.
Davis, 1 foot on the carpet. That's a good lead. The combination of power and speed of Davis and Daniels in the 3-4 spots in the lineup. I don't know if anybody in the National League can top that.
Now Nick Saski is way in front at 3-0. Not taking it all. In fact, he took a rip. And the count is 3-1 with a base open. Pitch outside, ball 4. The second walk in the game, end of the inning for Pascual Perez, and he has runners on first and second with nobody out.
You have to watch Davis at second base. 14 for 14 in stolen base attempts of third last year for Eric Davis, and that means Nick Osaski's going to have to be alive at first base. And if Eric goes, Nick should be on his way too.
O'Neill struck out in the second. The first pitch hit high and hard to left field. Raines settling under it. Davis tags up, and he won't challenge the arm of Raines, who makes a good throw to the cutoff man Foley and chases Davis back to second. Osaski back to first.
You mentioned that Davis tagged up on that play. If Tim Raines is not alert, Davis can haul off and go for third base if Tim Raines makes a lackadaisical throw to third. Davis has that type of speed.
Raines knew that obviously all along because he was very quick to make the throw in. So Pascual Perez has one out, runners on first and second, as he faces Bo Diaz. Perez looks back towards Davis.
Tim, early in the game you spoke of how well Ron Robinson pitches on the road, but not particularly effective here in Cincinnati. Bo Diaz, the opposite. Hit well here at home. In fact, over 300. Hit only 230 on the road.
Hits this one on the ground for Foley. Goes to Paredes for one. Pulls Galarraga off the bag, but he makes the play and gets the double play. A 6-4-3 double play hit into by Bo Diaz that clears Pascual Perez, and a good play by Andres Galarraga to make it.
Foley flips to Paredes right about chest high. There shouldn't be room for a bad throw, but he's a little offline. Galarraga makes the save.
6-4-3, and Perez is free, but the Reds get one more and are up 2-0. This is Labatt Expos Baseball on TSN. This broadcast is presented by authority of the Montreal Baseball Club Limited and may not be rebroadcast in any form without the express written consent of the Montreal Baseball Club Limited. We're at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, where the Reds have taken a 2-0 lead over the Montreal Expos. I'm Jim Houston with Ken Singleton in the broadcast booth. We'll bring you another game from Cincinnati tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern with Mario Soto against Floyd Yeomans. But tonight the Expos have to get their hitting shoes on against Ron Robinson. They haven't got a hit. He's perfect through 4, and Buck Rogers sends his cleanup man, Tim Wallach, to lead things off at the plate in the 5th.
I think what Buck has seen is Ron Robinson be very effective on the mound. Fastball, curveball, changeup, all working in the early going. The Expos have yet to have a man reach base as Wallach leads off the top of the 5th.
Outside, ball 1. Talked at the outset of this game about how Tim Raines came back in May and had such a great effect on the Montreal Expos. They went 10-5 on the road. Strike 1-1. It wasn't only Raines. Maybe Raines was the cause of the effect. But other players had terrific months of May. Like Wallach went 308, 29 RBIs in the month of May last year. Really got it going. Hits a line drive to the shortstop Larkin here and is retired for the second time.
Perfect positioning on the part of Barry Larkin, or probably his coaches before the game told him to play Wallach over in the hole. We're going to feed him breaking balls. He might try and pull it. He should be able to pull it, and he did. Normally that's a base hit. Where Larkin is stationed now for Andres Galarraga is more through the middle. He would have had no chance on that ball hit by Tim Wallach.
Galarraga grounded out to the shortstop. Back in the second inning. Galarraga in the month of May last year hit .371 with 21 RBIs. No wonder the team caught fire. There were no less than 6 regulars that hit over 300 in the month of May. That combined with Neil Heaton's pitching in that month and Tim Burke out of the bullpen with 5 saves really got the Expos going.
Well, up to that point, the Expos were a couple of games under 500. Then they made their push, and I think by the end of the month, they were approaching that 10 games over 500 mark, which is the first milepost of the season.
Galarraga swung at an outside breaking ball, 2-2 with 1 away. Robinson has the first 13 in order. Ball 3, the count is full. Off the fists and foul, and the count remains full. Good snag by the man in yellow who hurt his left hand.
In fact, speaking about 10 games over 500, only 3 teams in major leagues have reached that point at this early start of the season. The Oakland A's, 17-7. They've won 7 straight games. Pittsburgh Pirates, 17-6.
Amazing.
And the New York Mets, 16-6.
Robinson struck Galarraga out. Strikeout number 2. 2 away in the 5th.
Fastball well spotted over the outside corner. Galarraga maybe chasing a bit. Pitch might have been a bit outside, but with 2 strikes, you got to be able to protect the whole plate. He couldn't on that one, and Robinson picks up his second strikeout of the night.
So Webster comes up. He's been the best Expo in terms of on-base percentage. Hits a fly ball to right center. O'Neill comes in and makes the catch in front of Eric Davis, who was there as well. Ron Robinson has got it on cruise control tonight. 15 in a row he's retired, and the Expos trail by 2 as the Reds come up in the 5th. This is Labatt Expos Baseball on TSN. The Expos are down 2-0. Haven't had a sniff off of Ron Robinson. He's had a couple of fine defensive plays behind him, but Robinson has done most of the work himself.
Tommy Helms is taking over. As you can see, Pete Rose is nowhere in sight. In fact, I believe I heard that he's back home after arthroscopic knee surgery this afternoon. Certainly we wish Pete well.
He had planned the arthroscopic surgery for today, as was pointed out earlier, and he was going to have it anyway, so he wasn't going to be here tonight. But he did send down a statement saying that no player or manager has greater respect for the umpires than I do, and I've demonstrated that over the years, but I'm shocked at the length of the suspension I received, which was 30 games. He expected to be suspended, he says, but he feels that this unprecedented 30 days is excessive, and in light of that, he says he has no choice but to appeal the decision. He adds that he feels he should have been given the right to tell his side of the story to the league president.
Meanwhile, we have Jeff Treadway at the plate in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Treadway grounded to Wallach at third base. Back in the 2nd. Asked my former teammate Lee May if he knew of any player that Treadway reminded him of. He said Rich Dower of the Orioles. Not flashy, not too fast, but gets the job done.
He just did an Ozzie Smith-like somersault after tripping over a leg or the first base bag as he's called out. Treadway hits it on the ground. Foley goes to his left, makes the play just in time, and then Treadway goes for a tumble. But he managed to land on his feet after the somersault. Take my word for it. Ron Robinson's up. Ground ball by Wallach. Foley gobbles it up. Throws him out. To his left, then to his right. Foley makes a pair of plays.
That play was tougher than the first one. He had to run away from the direction in which he was going to throw the ball. Throwing on the run once again. Maybe a faster runner would have given him more problems, but Ron Robinson is retired. And as you can see, Barry Larkin is going to take his time coming to the plate to give Robinson a chance to catch his breath on the bench.
Larkin is singled and grounded out. Larkin now the shortstop. Foley's made the last two plays. Foley was at one time the man they thought would be the regular shortstop for a long time in Cincinnati. But then with Larkin and Stillwell on their way up, they decided they could trade Foley away to Philadelphia and got Bo Diaz as part of that package. Pascual Perez. The count is 1-0, 2 away. Nobody aboard. Swing and a miss by Larkin, 1-1.
There's that hard slider we talked about.
Got it inside, and Larkin fouled it off.
That was about the only place he could have hit that pitch. Down the line foul. Right in up around his numbers.
One-two pitch from Perez. Outside. 2-2.
Larkin off to a good start. Began the day hitting .307. 32 hits. Leads the National League.
Skyrocket into left field. Might be a play. Yes, there will. A wind as it got up high might have helped keep that in fair territory and in play for Tim Raines to make the catch. So Pascual Perez has 1, 2, 3, 5th. Gets the Reds in order. And the Expos come to the plate without a hit, without a run, down 2-0. This is Labatt Expos Baseball on TSN. Now let's go once again to TSN Control for this sports update.
This update is brought to you by Zenith. The quality goes in before the name goes on.
Hello there, and welcome back to our TSN Control Center in Toronto. I'm Paul Romanek. The ball game's sailing right along, and they are sailing right along in game number 1 of the Wales Conference Final between the Boston Bruins and the New Jersey Devils. Let's pop in and see how things are going in this game. A man who's going to lead the Bruins, if they're to go anywhere, is Ray Bourque, their great veteran defenseman and captain. It's apparent the Bruins want to knock the tiara off of Cinderella's head the way they are hitting in this game. Cam Neely leveling Mark Johnson. Speaking of great defensemen, watch Glenn Wesley. Great shot from the blue line to beat Bob Solvay, who was in goal instead of Sean Burke. The score is 1-0. They are now in the second period of that game. Now, as far as baseball is concerned, as promised, I mentioned Morgana the Kissing Bandit paying a visit to the 1-23 Orioles game in Baltimore. Let's have a gander. Here she comes. She's calling for timeout, and when a woman with a 60-inch bust calls for timeout, you give it to her. And she will give a kiss to Cal Ripken. Nice touch, the lipstick on the cheek. And she will bounce off the field, and the Orioles will bounce right along in their game. They're doing pretty well. We'll be back later on.
Crowd tonight in Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati watching Reds pitcher Ron Robinson go perfect through 5 as he faces the Expos here in the top of the 6th inning. The Reds with a slim 2-0 lead in the bottom of the order, the 7, 8, and 9 spots. Up for the Expos with Mike Fitzgerald to lead it off.
Now you mentioned that Robinson was perfect through 5 innings. I bet you nobody in the dugout, Cincinnati dugout, has said that to him.
Not allowed to mention it. Throws a strike, 0-1.
One of those all-time baseball superstitions. That and not stepping on the foul lines, among others.
Yeah. It's like talking about a shutout in hockey in the 3rd period. 0-2. Robinson is ahead of Fitzgerald. Outside, ball 1, 1-2. looking for his second win against the Expos this season. Fitzgerald trying to get something going for the first time. A 1-2 pitch. Hit hard to left field. Daniels is going back with an eye on it. And he makes the catch before he gets to the track. A long out, one away. And Robinson, who in the past has been a fly ball pitcher, gets a lot of outs from the outfield, has got more from the infield tonight. That's one of the rare fly balls.
And looking at my scorecard, I'm trying to see any of the balls have been hit hard by the Expos. I guess Tim Raines leading off the game.
Yeah.
The play by Treadway on Wallach was a difficult play.
Line shot right to Larkin. But he was in perfect position.
That's about it so far. Not many loud outs for the Expos as Tom Foley hits with one down in the sixth.
Talked about Buck Rogers trying to get some punch in the bottom of the order. Last year with Vance Law around, he had him in the 6th spot. So the catchers were where they are now. Fitzgerald in the 7th spot. Foley was in the 8th spot. Reed Nichols was around. There's Foley. He hits this one hard to left center, but it's high in the air. And Eric Davis is under it. There's 2 away. So if you combine the catchers last season with Reed Nichols, Tom Foley, and Alonzo Powell, who was there for a while, they hit .252 and drove in 100 runs from the bottom 3 spots in the order. And at this time last year, the bottom 3 in the order were hitting .200. And this year they're hitting .201. The bottom 3, including the pinch hitters and the pitchers. Pascual Perez being one of those. Twists himself around into the dirt. Strike 1.
Maybe not in production, but at least they're consistent.
If Paredes can indeed hit at the major league level, he may be the key. If he can stay up in the 2nd spot and allow them to move Webster, the catchers, and Foley down one and get something going at the bottom of the order. They just like to get anything going anywhere right now.
Breaking ball has Perez backing away and taking a strike. He says, I wish I could get that pitch. Well, right now he's in a hole. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Strikeout number 3 for Ron Robinson. Perfect through 6. He's retired 18 Expos in a row. Ron Robinson and the Cincinnati Reds lead Montreal 2-0 in the middle of 6th. This is Labatt Expos Baseball on TSN. Pascual Perez prepares the mound to pitch to the Cincinnati Reds. In the bottom of the 6th inning, the Reds are up 2-0. Pascual has given up 4 hits. The last inning, he gave up a run on 1 hit. But a base on balls and a stolen base hurt him, as Cal Daniels, who has scored both runs, came around to make it 2-0. On a single by Eric Davis after Daniels had stolen a base.
Chris Sabo waiting his turn to come up to hit here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Sabo taking over for Buddy Bell, out with knee surgery or knee injury. Talked to Buddy before the game. He said that he's feeling pretty good. He might be able to come back fairly soon, but Sabo's done such a fine job. Might be hard to get him out of the lineup.
Sabo was grounded out and struck out against Pascual Perez. Is out front 1-0 here. Fly ball left field. Raines is over to watch it go. A home run for Chris Sabo. 1-0 Reds on the 5th home run of the season for Chris Sabo.
Brings the crowd to its feet. Looked like a fastball up and in, and he ran it right down the line. Barely fair for a home run. Right now, the Reds are looking pretty good. 3-0.
Nobody out. Sabo was the leadoff man. The bottom of the 6th, and here's Cal Daniels. Up and in. And Daniels has got some words for Perez. Now everybody's coming out. The dugouts are clearing. Saturday, they emptied the dugouts against the Mets here. There's a wrestling match up on the hill, but I think that's a little goofing around.
John Franco and Ubi Brooks. More dancing than actual wrestling. You know, usually the only two that are mad at each other are the pitcher and the hitter in this situation.
Now Perez is a little upset. So is Daniels. Perez already a little unsettled, having been down 3-0 and just given up the home run.
Well, the umpires are talking it over near the mound. And if they feel it's intentional now, with the new rule this year, Perez can be thrown out of the game.
Don't have to hit him. The umpire's judgment, if the intent to hit Daniels was there, they could throw Perez out.
No such thing as a warning anymore. I believe this is what they're talking over now. The crew chief is Bob Engel with his back to you. And he's doing the talking right now. Well, the majority of it, that's Joe West, and Buck Rogers sweating out this decision.
In the 6th inning, and Rogers, besides the fact that he wants Perez to stay out there and work, has to think about the fact that he used everybody but McClure in a 14-inning ball game yesterday. And he needs Perez to stay out there.
Now here comes Buck to talk to plate umpire Paul Runge.
I think it's a don't do it again all around.
Now the Expos might be getting a break here because they don't have to warn him. They can just throw him out of the game. In this particular situation, they're going to let Perez stay. And Buck saying, I have no control over what he does on the mound. I didn't tell him to throw at the guy.
All right, all right. Interesting night. There's a full moon on Saturday. I can understand what happened with the Mets in town. But for what reason are these wild things starting to happen tonight?
Well, the near brawl with the Mets started when pitcher Tom Browning drilled Tim Tuffle in the back.
But Tuffle didn't go at him.
Well, it was after a balk call. A run scored on the balk, and Browning was kind of upset, so he drills Tuffle in the back. And the bench is empty.
It was Darryl Strawberry that was the first off the bench for the Mets. So Pasquale's pitching again, and the count on Daniels is 3-0. They walked him. Third walk and the second to Daniels.
Well, a combination of Daniels and Davis has been devastating. They've each driven in a run. Daniels has scored twice. They've each stolen a base, and Daniels is on now. And you know he's kind of upset.
The men in the middle of the order that have been slumping are doing their job tonight. Takes his lead, the throw over to Galarraga, and Daniels is back.
The Reds with an 86% success rate on stolen base attempts.
Davis on the ground for Wallach. To Paredes for one, to Galarraga for two, and it's not easy to double up speedsters like Daniels and Davis. But the sharply hit ball to Wallach goes around the horn. 5-4-3 double play.
Nice play by Wallach to get the ball quickly over to Paredes at second. Quickness is of the essence, trying to double up two of the fastest runners in the league.
Puts a different light on the situation then. Bottom of the sixth inning, Nick Asaski up with nobody aboard and two away. Outside ball, 1-1. Perez has walked three. Now given up 5 hits, including 2 homers. And it's 3-0 Cincinnati. Asaski fouls one back.
So Perez, who outside of the 2 home run balls has really pitched a fairly good game, has kept the Expos in it, but has run into a roadblock in Ron Robinson.
High fly balls, center field. Brooks is actually calling for it in right center and makes the catch to win an explosive inning in more ways than one. Chris Sabo hits one out of the park to make it 3-0. Daniels comes out to the mound and the bench is empty, but that's all they do. The Reds 3, the Expos nothing after 6. This is Labatt Expos baseball on TSN. Cincinnati Reds lead the Montreal Expos 3-0. And Ron Robinson prepares to face the Expos order for the 3rd time. See if he's doing anything the hitters can get onto. Tim Raines will be the first man up, followed by Paredes and Brooks against Ron Robinson, who's posted goose eggs across the board.
I'd like to remind you all to stay tuned after tonight's ball game for our extra inning show, when you can call in and you can talk to the man that's sitting right now, Tim Raines, on the anniversary of his return to the Expos a year ago.
What a day he had, and what a month he had. Got the Expos off and flying. Ended up hitting .349 for May, scored 29 runs, drove in 18, stole 10 bases, and all without the benefit of spring training.
Well, right now he's just trying to get on base and get something going for the Expos against Ron Robinson, who has been brilliant to say the least through the first 6 innings of the ball game.
1-1 pitch. Raines goes the other way to left field, and over there to make the running catch is Cal Daniels. 1 away in the 7th.
No substitute for good speed, and Cal Daniels and Eric Davis, 2/3 of the Reds outfield, can really pick him up and lay him down. Ball was slicing away, but Daniels was able to make the play fairly easily.
Here's Johnny Paredes. Grounded out to the shortstop. Popped up to the first baseman Asaski in his 2 appearances. Outside ball 1 from Ron Robinson. You know, it seems all great baseball players to get to the major leagues had to be great in high school, great at college, somewhere along the line. So everybody put terrific statistics at one point or another. Count as a ball and a strike. Ron Robinson's no exception. Back in his high school in Woodlake, California, his senior year, he went 14-1 with a .49 ERA, 188 strikeouts in 110 innings, and 4 no-hitters. Bunt by Paredes right to Nick Asaski. To the heck with this. So it turns into a 3-1 play. The Labatt player of the game tonight for the Cincinnati Reds will receive a weed eater String trimmers that hedge and blowers that beat raking. Garden and yard care the convenient way from Weed Eater. Ron Robinson has chewed up the Expos just don't like that so far tonight.
Been mowing them down.
2 away, top of the 7th. Hubie Brooks to face Robinson. Strike 2, 0-2. He's cooking now. As if he'd not been all along. "20 straight retired by Robinson."
So the target by Bo Diaz low and away, trying to tease Hubie, and he got it up high and away. That's an easier pitch for Hubie to actually get a bat on.
1-2 pitch off the end of the bat, right into the glove of Nick Esaski. When you're going well, the other team seems to hit him where your guys are standing. Hubie Brooks hit that one right into the glove of the first baseman, and it's 21 straight for Ron Robinson. He's blasted through the Expos for 7 straight. Hubie reaches out, lines it into Esaski's glove. And the Reds and Robinson lead 3-0. Time for the 7th inning stretch in Cincinnati. This is Labatt Expos Baseball on TSN.
For all of those of you in the Montreal area would like to call the Expos and get some tickets, the number is 253-0700 in Montreal, or you can call 1-800-361-0658. For those of you outside of the Montreal metropolitan area, get your Expos tickets.
The NBA playoffs continue on TSN. The Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. Wednesday, May the 4th. 2 nights of baseball and then back to basketball. 8 o'clock Eastern. The Celtics and the Knicks.
Celtics having an easy time with the New Yorkers so far. Larry Bird and company rolling to a 26-point victory yesterday.
This is Paul O'Neill to face Pascual Perez in the bottom of the 7th with the Reds leading 3-0. 3 runs on 5 hits, no errors. They've left 3 aboard. Perez has got a couple of double plays to get him out of trouble. 3 of them, actually. Ball and 2 strikes to O'Neill.
O'Neill, an Ohio product from Columbus, Ohio. So the Reds do scout heavily within the state. Right in their own backyard. A number of the players, Larkin from Cincinnati. Pete Rose, of course, from Cincinnati. As O'Neill goes down swinging on the breaking ball. Strikeout number 3 for Perez. Slider down and in. As you can see, the pitch was well out of the strike zone. O'Neill chased it.
First strikeout since the 3rd for Pascual Perez. He gets O'Neill and now faces Bo Diaz, who singled. Stranded on 3rd, back into 2nd. Hit into a double play. And now hits one foul. Wallach went over and had a look. But it's 0-1. Unusual in a game to find 4 players from Venezuela in the same ball game. Bo Diaz from Caracas. David Concepcion is in the dugout for the Cincinnati Reds. The Expos have Andres Galarraga and Johnny Paredes. Because there aren't that many of them around. Tony Armas is another.
It's the greatest Venezuelan player of all time, Hall of Famer Luis Aparicio.
Galarraga might be the biggest hero of them all right now.
Aparicio, shortstop with the Chicago White Sox and Baltimore Orioles for a number of years. Top down the third base line. Wallach, strong play.
What a play by Walt. Had to be quick and make the throw right away because Diaz was moving fast as he can.
You can see how deep he was playing on what would have been the outfield grass. Throwing on the run and on target. Excellent play by Tim Wallach.
Galarraga is always stretching out, making the catch. 2 away. Jeff Treadway's the batter. Grounded out a couple of times. Bottom of the 7th inning, 3-0 Reds. One and one count on Treadway.
Jeff, a former Georgia Bulldog, played at the University of Georgia. You all?
A change-up, and Treadway hit it right into the glove as he waited long enough for it, of the glove of Galarraga, and Perez just about spun out trying to get off the mound. Gets a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the 7th, but the Reds still lead 3-0 as the Expos come up to once again try and solve Ron Robinson. This is Labatt, Expos Baseball on TSN.
In sports, just as in life, all you can expect is an honest effort for your team and yourself.
You can teach good sportsmanship to young ball players early. After all, it's a skill, just like throwing or hitting.
Once in high school, the opposing coach had one of his pitchers throw at one of our hitters. My coach told me not to retaliate. He was right.
I'm lucky. My coaches have all been class acts. If you're taught fair play early, it will stay with you forever.
The reason the Expos did surprisingly well last year is that we have a good bunch of guys who care for one another and encourage each other.
When I played Little League Baseball, we had one of the fathers that would always scream, yell, and criticize. We never liked that.
I think that the most important thing for parents to remember is that the game is for kids, to have fun.
Kids learn behavior by example, from parents, coaches, and teammates. So everyone involved in sports needs to demonstrate a sense of fair play.
To the top of the 8th, and so far Ron Robinson has needed 1 run, and well, that's it. He's been simply great, and he got a 1-0 lead in the first as Cal Daniels hit Pascual Perez hard for his 5th home run of the season. Then Daniels stole a base and scored in inning number 4 on a single by Eric Davis to make it 2-0, and the Reds got more in the 6th inning on the 5th home run of the season from Chris Sabo and build a 3-0 lead, and Ron Robinson on the mound has worked with that very well. In fact, through 7, he's retired every Expo batter he's faced, 21 straight, and goes against the middle of the order here in the 8th.
Wallach, Galarraga, and Webster.
Well, Robinson has been great. Pascual Perez has been good enough to keep the Expos in this, down by 3, and a rally could get them back in it. But first, they have to get something, anything, of Robinson. Bob McClure, who hasn't pitched in a couple of weeks, and the only Expo pitcher who didn't throw yesterday, the only reliever who didn't throw yesterday in Houston, is warming in the bullpen.
Now with Robinson on a mound, flirting with a no-hitter at this moment, and still with a perfect game. The last no-hitter thrown by a Red was by Tom Seaver on June 16th of '78 against the St. Louis Cardinals.
It's almost 10 years. Wallach didn't get much of that, but he got enough to get it back to Robinson and himself an easy out, 1 away in the 8th.
Changing speeds effectively with the breaking ball. The Expos are off balance. Wallach was way out in front on that. Robinson a step closer.
22 in a row. Galarraga grounded out in the second, struck out in the fifth. Galarraga hit his 6th home run, a 2-run shot yesterday in Houston. Hits this one hard, but it's a rope at Cal Daniels. 2 away.
That was only one of possibly 3 hard hit balls by the Expos tonight. Galarraga put a charge into it, but almost directly at Cal Daniels in left field.
Webster has grounded out and flied out to right field in his 2 appearances against Ron Robinson, who bounces one up. The crowd in Riverfront Stadium is really starting to buzz about this now, with 2 away in the 8th.
One of the few times Robinson has been behind on the count, falls behind on Webster, 2 balls and no strikes. Change up.
Two and two.
2 excellent pitches after being behind 2-0. A dangerous situation when you're flirting with a no-hitter.
Three and two. 2 out. Top of the 8th. 3-0 Reds.
Goes to the slider. Imagine what's going through Ron Robinson's mind. A lot of pitchers will tell you, no, I wasn't aware of it. Well, he's aware of it, believe me.
You got to figure he became particularly aware of it in the last couple of innings. Started getting perfect up to 6 or 7. How could you not think about it? Webster on the ground. Treadway's in front of it. Over to first. Retiring the side of the 8th. Ron Robinson's 3 outs away. 24 straight for the 26-year-old Reds pitcher, and his team has him out front of the Expos 3-0 after 7.5. This is Labatt, Expos baseball on TSN. The crowd is still buzzing, and it's almost like they get a chance to relax and not worry so much about it with their team coming to bat in the bottom of the 8th. Robinson's got a bat.
I'm sure he'll get a fine ovation as he steps to the plate. Cincinnati fans could be sitting in on history tonight. And you two at home watching on TSN.
Can you imagine if they had a roof on this place, they'd take it off if he got a hit. 0-1 on Ron Robinson from Pascual Perez. Giving up a pair of homers and a run-scoring single to Eric Davis, and is behind 3-0 as he works in the bottom of the 8th.
The worst thing Robinson can do here is get on base, tire himself out. So the count is No balls and 2 strikes. Maybe he'll just wave at anything close. Nope, that wasn't close enough. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Ron Robinson goes to the dugout for a rest. Strikeout number 4 for Pascual Perez, and another ovation for Robinson. Don't get many strikeout ovations, but Robinson just got one. Top of the order, and Barry Larkin to face Pascual Perez.
Well, the effort given by Ron Robinson tonight. Remember, the Reds came in with a 4-game losing streak, dropped under the 500 mark for the first time this season. Their manager has just been suspended for 30 days. This might be the boost that they need to get them off on a streak.
One and one, the count on Larkin, who singled and grounded out, flied out. Up and in and fouled away by Larkin.
Not to mention the fact that the Mets and the Reds were involved in a near brawl on Saturday night. And the Mets come out on Sunday and hammer the Reds 11-0. Insult them with 4 home runs, 3 in a row during the game.
One of them 1,000,000 miles long out into right field.
Darryl Strawberry up near the Red seats.
Ground ball, diving is Paredes. Nice play, and he throws out Larkin. Fine play by the Expos second baseman, Johnny Paredes.
Paredes ranging far to his left, just about as far as he can go. Watch, there's going to be a little snow cone at the end of this. Nice play, bounds to his feet, and throws out the speedy Larkin. Excellent play. Good defense all around tonight on both sides.
There could be 100 brilliant plays in this game, but they'll all be forgotten because the man on the mound has been so good. A ground ball now for Foley. And he'll throw out Chris Sabo. A second consecutive 1-2-3 inning for Pascual Perez. But Ron Robinson is the man of the moment. Can he do it? We'll find out. This is Labatt, Expos Baseball on TSN. Now let's go to TSN Control for a sports update.
This update brought to you by Speedy Muffler King. At Speedy, you're a somebody, 110% guaranteed.
Well, Ron Robinson working on perfection, and just in case you were wondering, the last perfect game in the majors by Mike Witt of the California Angels on the final day of the 1985 regular season. Well, they are looking for perfection in Boston, where the Boston Bruins are playing the New Jersey Devils in game number 1 of the Wales Conference Final. Ray Bourque, maybe the most perfect defenseman in the NHL right now. And watch the hitting in this game. The Bruins trying to knock the tiara off of Cinderella's head. What a shot right there as Ken Mealy stepped into Mark Johnson. Speaking of great defensemen, a great shot by a great young defenseman, Glenn Wesley, to give his team a 1-0 lead. That is Bob Silva in goal for New Jersey, by the way. A bit of a surprise instead of Sean Burke. How do you follow up the first goal? More hitting like that. The Bruins very aggressive. Second period, the Bruins get a goal here. The puck comes across in front of the net. Steve Casper knocks it home. They are now playing in the second period. It is 3-1. Tom Curvers with the New Jersey goal. Craig Janney has scored the third Boston Bruins goal. Back to the ballpark after this.
Really care what the score is, long as the Reds are leading and Ron Robinson is coming out to the hill to work again. The 26-year-old from Woodlake, California, has posted zeros and is 3 outs away from his first no-hitter.
Excellent control, matched with a beautiful assortment of pitches and changing speeds, keeping the balls more or less on the corners all night long. It's up to Mike Fitzgerald, Tom Foley, and a pinch hitter for Pascual Perez.
Have you ever batted against a pitcher this late in a game when he's working on a no-hitter?
Oh, yeah.
Broken any up?
No. Well, I've gotten some hits, but I've been involved in no-hitters on both sides. Bill Stoneman threw one for the Expos, and Nolan Ryan no-hit the Orioles in 1975 on the corner for a strike.
It's old hat for Nolan Ryan, but it's brand new for Ron Robinson. His lowest hit game is a complete game 7 hitter. 1-1 count on Fitzgerald.
Remember that particular afternoon in Anaheim. And by the 7th inning, we were yelling for the dugout to Nolan Ryan to give us a chance. It was obvious he was going to be that tough. And he looked over and smiled. Proceeded to shut us down for the last 2 innings.
2-1 pitch to Fitzgerald. 2-2.
Now, every time Robinson has fallen behind on the count, which hasn't been often, he's come back and made an excellent pitch. I don't mean just a strike. I mean a strike on the corner. Something that's been very tough for the Expo hitters to hit, and they've ended up taking the pitch for a strike.
Grounded foul, and the count remains 2-2.
In fact, all night long, Robinson's only been behind on the count to 4 hitters. That's what called control, getting that first pitch over. That shows the importance of throwing strikes in good locations.
2-2 pitch. Ground ball for Larkin, the shortstop. 1 away. Tom Foley. 1 away, top of the 9th. Fouled away, 0-2. Wallace Johnson is on deck to pinch hit for Pascual Perez. Robinson is 2 batters away, and they're both in his sights.
Way ahead on the count, 0-2. You can see Tom Foley expecting a pitch over the outer half of the plate. Was almost diving towards the outside corner, had to reverse the engines very quickly to get out of the way of that high, tight fastball. Watch his front shoulder move right to the outside corner. All of a sudden, whoa, back up.
1-2 pitch. Fly ball, center field. That's number 26. Making him think about it. Seconds must seem like an eternity. Oh, 1.
Perfect pitch on the corner.
everyone on their feet. The count is 1-1. Robinson's 1 out away. 2 balls and a strike.
Wallace Johnson, a man who's come through in the pinch a number of times, not looking so much for putting the Expos ahead, but just breaking up this man's chance at history.
2-1. A little more drama. 2-2 is the count. 2 out, top of the 9th. Robinson 1 strike away from every pitcher's dream. Talk about bursting a balloon.
Wallace Johnson. So close and yet so far.
Perfect for 8 2/3. A single to left for Wallace Johnson
on a 2-2 pitch. You saw Bo Diaz give the signal for the curveball. That one was not on the corner, was towards the middle of the plate, and Wallace Johnson, just trying to make contact, delivers.
1-1. It just seems so anticlimactic that there's another batter at the plate. Johnson's on first and nobody here wants him there.
Well, that's why they call him Mr. Pinch. Might be the most hated man in Cincinnati right now.
They've forgotten about Dave Pallone. A ball and 2 strikes to Tim Raines. 2 out, top of 9. Up and in at the eyes. 2-2.
Oh, we talked about a no-hitter. How about a one-hitter? Last time it was done by Tom Browning. June the 4th of '86 against Chicago. That was John Franco warming up in the bullpen.
Ball 3, 3-2. And if Robinson has lost his concentration and is somewhat dejected, deflated, who can blame him? But if he loses Tim Raines, the tying run comes to the plate. And what was once forgotten must be remembered, that the Expos could still be in this game as Raines hits a long fly ball to right. It's out of here. A 2-run homer for Tim Raines. The 4th home run of the season for Raines, and this is no longer a no-hit game or a one-hit game, but it's a 2-hit game and a 1-run game. 3-2, Cincinnati leads. 2 out, top of 9.
3-2 pitch. right on money as far as Tim Raines is concerned. See Paul O'Neill looking up. When the outfielder starts to look up like that, that means the ball is gone. The Expos are somewhat vindicated after going down in history themselves. They spoil it for Ron Robinson.
Franco's in. This pitching change is brought to you by Remington. John Franco is on. He didn't want to be. Nobody in this crowd wanted to see him. And the emotions have run the gamut here. It's been a roller coaster tonight. Ron Robinson, 8 2/3 perfect innings. A single to Wally Johnson, a home run to Raines, and Franco's on, and Tommy Helms has to think about preserving a victory.
Ron Robinson will remember this night for the rest of his life. Just one pitch away. Kind of hung a breaking ball to Wallace Johnson. And then got a fastball where Tim Raines could lay all over it. Might be a little hard for him to sleep tonight.
8 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 2 hits, 3 strikeouts. Seems hardly fair that he was perfect for 8 2/3, and well, this is just another 2-hit outing that'll go into the books, and nobody will notice it in a few days' time. Threw 102 pitches over his 8 2/3, and he may think about each one of them as he tries to sleep tonight.
Well, it's up to Johnny Paredes to try and keep the Expo rally going here in the top of the 9th inning. He's facing a tough customer. And John Franco, who's been just about perfect this season, has not allowed a run in 14 appearances. I should say, this is his 10th appearance he hasn't allowed a run. Hasn't allowed a run in 14 innings.
Count is 1-1. Paredes swings hard. Barely gets a piece of it, 1-2. Franco had the most saves by a left-hander in the league last year at 32, and he led the National League in games finished with 60. This is his territory. This is what he's paid to do. Here's a ground ball. Treadway at second base ends it. What looked like a perfect game turns into a 3-2 victory for the Cincinnati Reds. There's still one hero in Cincinnati tonight.